how a real woman does it. Today's Woman, every Friday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on Today 95.1 FM.
For a boy, even just for a day, I'd roll out of bed in the morning and throw on what I wanted and go. Drink beer with the guys and chase after girls. I kick it with who I wanted, and I never get confronted for it, 'cause they stick up for me. If I were a boy, I think I could understand how it feels to love a girl. I swear I'd be a better man. I listen to her, 'cause I know how it hurts when you lose the one you wanted, 'cause he's taking you for granted and everything you had got destroyed. If I were a boy, I would turn off my phone, tell everyone it's broken, so they think that I was sleeping alone. I put myself first and make the rules as I go, 'cause I know that she'd be faithful, waiting for me to come home, If I were a boy, I think I could understand how it feels to love a girl. I swear I'd be a better man. I listen to her, 'cause I know how it hurts when you lose the one you wanted, and he's taking you for granted, and everything you had got destroyed. It's a little too late for you to come back, say it's just a mistake, think I forgive you like that. If you thought I would wait for you, you thought wrong. But you're just a boy, you don't understand. You don't understand how it feels to love a girl. Someday you wish you were a better man. You don't listen to her, you don't care how it hurts until you lose the one you wanted, 'cause you're taking her for granted and everything you had got destroyed. But you're just a boy, you're a boy.
All right, beautiful evening to you. Welcome to Today's Woman on your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. I am Buchi Rafwa. But what if Jagada is here with me in the studio? But it's good to have you.
Yeah, it's very nice to be on here again on another edition or episode of Today's Woman. I was about to say area talk. Well, you're welcome to Today's Woman, and this is the show where we talk about everything related to women. So you're officially welcome, and my name is Buluwatife, as she said.
And we also have Annie, and it's good to have you in the program.
Thank you, Buchi. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
And he's here blushing. All right, you are welcome. It's the Women's Day. It's a Women's Time. Well, on our station, it's time for us to talk about things related to women. But before we talk about other things, there are two things that are actually bothering me, and I feel I should get your opinion and thoughts on it first. I saw a picture of a guy. I know this is not the first time. I've seen Tonto Dike do it before. I've seen actors and actresses do it before. But I saw it in just somewhere around my neighborhood where a guy was actually, a mother was kissing her child in the mouth, like in the mouth directly. And well, what I see on TV, it's either the child is around 6, 7, 8 years old. But this particular lady was kissing her 14-year-old child on the mouth, and it looks like something the guy is already used to. And I thought I should get your thoughts on it. What do you think of women that do that? Do you think it's okay? Do you think it's right?
Well, for a 14-year-old child, that is not okay.
But
You're
it's
kissing
okay.
directly in the mouth. You're not even pecking the child. You're not kissing.
It's a peck. They call it peck.
You know,
too.
that's not the kind of peck we're talking about. We're talking of the cheek kind of peck that she'll put and
they-
lips on the cheek and
when
just
what did they do
That
to
one.
Jesus? They betrayed Jesus with a kiss. Was he on his mouth?
in the
It was
mouth.
by the side now. It was still called a kiss. They didn't say they betrayed Jesus with a peck.
We have given it a name, and the name now is peck. So we're talking of pecking a child or kissing the child in the forehead. That is what I know, and that is what I think is okay. But kissing directly in the mouth, like, okay, and in your mind now you're pecking the son or something in the mouth. It does not make sense to me. The child is too grown to be kissed in the mouth.
So what if the child is 6, 7 years old? It's fine.
Or even a baby.
I think it's only a baby that I think to some extent you can just be like, maybe the baby is so fine and you can get over
And you
it.
kiss the baby in the mouth.
And you just be like,
think
or
that's even wrong.
maybe you're playing with the baby. I'm just saying that to some extent, I would, if you tell me that, okay, a person was kissing a baby, it would be more okay to me than when you're kissing like a 3-year-old, 4-year-old baby. Talk less of a 14-year-old person. So it doesn't seem right to me.
All right, Annie.
Well, I don't think kissing a child generally, whether it's a baby or it's a 15, 14-year-old child, I don't think parents should kiss their children directly in their lips. I think they could peck the child or something. I don't think it's appropriate because the whole idea of kissing directly is more connected to emotions and romance. I don't know, in my opinion. So
Well, you can't possibly be romancing a child, a baby, a 1-month-old baby or a 3-month-old baby. You can't possibly have a romantic feeling for it. But we know of pedophiles. We know of pedophiles, people that, they like doing sexual things with baby. But we're not talking of them. We're talking of normal people with their heads screwed on straight.
yeah.
So we're talking of those kind of people. Normally, like, to
People
some
just
extent.
kiss.
Yeah,
people just kiss children.
you
just kiss
see
babies.
a fine baby and just be like, oh my god, and then before you know it, you're just caught up with such a moment, and then before you know, but then like an adult, like older babies, like I don't understand why would you be doing that. Talk less of 14-year-old. These days, when you see 14-year-old
They're
children,
quite big.
they are quite. I saw somebody post a picture of a 15-year-old girl yesterday. The girl was doing her birthday. I thought the girl was like 20 something. Truth be told, she was not big. She was a slim girl, but the way everything was, as in, I'm like, she was looking so mature, and I'm like, this is 15 years old. Well, so if you're trying to kiss that kind of child, what are we talking about? Hey, they would think that maybe you're kissing an adult or something. So I don't think it's right.
I really don't think is right. Like I said earlier, whether it's a baby, whether it's a grown-up child, I really don't think it's right. Because when you do it innocently to a baby, you are making that baby, you're creating an impression in the mind of that child that is normal. that gives room to abusers. So when someone wants to abuse that child, the child doesn't think it's wrong because, of course, mommy kisses this child directly in the mouth, or daddy does that to the child. So, I really don't think it's right.
Well, I think for babies,
You still think for babies is okay?
to some extent, for babies, it's okay. I'm not saying that you should do it. I'm just saying that to some
But the
extent, if I
grown-up child-
if I hear something about you kissing a baby, I will just be like, oh, maybe it's,
The
it might
baby
just be
must have been really cute
or something. No, just caught up in the moment. Or you're trying to play with the baby. The baby is trying to cry, and then you're trying to pet the baby, and in the process, you're doing everything possible to make sure that the baby calms down. So things like that, I can still hear that. But 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 14-year-old child, not in this time. 14-year-old children look like they are adults these days. You can't differentiate them between. You can differentiate them. You can know that this is a 14-year-old child and this is a 20-something-year-old child.
Yeah.
You will never know because
Because they
most
look
of them
pretty
look so
big.
mature these days.
Yeah.
You see secondary school students having something that you just be looking at so grown, and you just hear their age and you just be like, Jesus.
And somebody's
How?
going to kiss that child directly in the mouth.
So, like, what are you telling the child? And these days, even very little children, I have somebody who told me the person is actually teaching in a school, and all these rich kids school, all these children, they know things. They know things. They are very grounded in this kind of things. They know. If auntie is kissing them unlawfully, they know what is happening. They know anything that is happening. All these little children that we have nowadays. So you can imagine that a 14-year-old child at this age will be kissed, and then something will not be ringing in his or her head. I don't think it's a very good idea.
Okay. Well, regards kissing a child in the mouth, not personally now, but just saying based on what I listened. I think, first of all, Annie pointed out the fact that, Annie, what was that you said?
That it exposes the child.
Yeah,
to,
it exposes the
abusers.
child exactly to abuses. And you could also see it as a way at which it's sexual.
Yeah.
You expose the child to sexuality. I have a cousin that the mom kisses him in his mouth, a very small child, 6 years old. And there are times this boy, he kisses his mom, like he just goes, kisses her and the rest. But then there are times when he wants to kiss someone else in the mouth, and you'd see it clear in his eyes that I'm not supposed to be kissing this auntie in her mouth. No. So it tells you that somewhere in their head, somehow they're aware that kissing is not a normal thing to do to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but if a woman keeps kissing her child like that, I feel it's really exposing. It exposes them too early. As much as you'd want to say, I know Tonto Dike did it, David Beckham and his wife, they always kiss their kids in their mouth and on the lips. And then I think it's so exposing the child to that, as bringing out the sexuality in that child too early. Whether it's 14 years old, or it's 7 years old, or it's 6 years old, or even 5 years old, I don't think it's something you should start in the first place, because trust me, that child will grow up feeling like that is normal. Like they pointed out, they'll feel it's normal. But then some person said it had some psychological impact on the child. Like, let's imagine the child taking kissing as a normal thing, which of course is not good for the child. I don't know. This is really distracting. But I'm sorry. But and stop staring like that. I actually lost my line of thoughts. Yeah,
Sorry.
apologies for that. But like I said, I don't think it's something parents should do with their children. It's something I don't think it's okay. Like I said, it exposes them sexually too early. And it's really confusing. Like, I kiss my mom in the mouth. Why can't I kiss this person in the mouth? And then some persons would argue that, well, if you're saying that's a problem, makes them kiss everybody randomly, what would you say about children breastfeeding kids? Because you're kissing the child directly in the mouth and you're feeling like, oh, this child wants to go and kiss every other person. What would you say about breastfeeding the child? Do you think the child wants to suck everybody's breast?
Well, I do not really get what you asked.
No, like the point of view that Annie brought up. I just give my personal opinion initially, but now just for the sake of this particular discussion, if you're saying that kissing the child in the mouth would expose the child, like most of us believe, and maybe in some cases, these children tend to take it as a normal thing in life, and whoever kisses them, they feel like you're just greeting them. It's what we do in the house. What would you say about breastfeeding the child? Because the child sucks the mother's breast. Some children suck till they are 5-6 years old. So yeah, true.
5-6 years
5,
old.
6.
Yes.
What
They
kind of
should just consider to their 10.
Oh, I have a friend that was always sucking. She was actually in secondary school when she stopped sucking.
Good.
Real life story. I'm not joking. No jokes.
She stopped sucking
In secondary school.
in secondary.
Because
She
the
was no
mother
longer sucking
threatened.
anything. She
Well,
was
it was breast, and she enjoyed sucking breast. Don't look like that. But the point is now, yeah.
Well, some
It's-
parents need to be, oriented or flogged or something. I don't
No,
know
it's
how.
not the parents' fault. It's the girl's fault.
It is not the
parents'
girl. It's
fault.
the parents' fault. You don't know what people do to stop their baby. Some people 6 months like this. I'm not saying it's good. To some extent, they said breastfeeding is very good, and we're not branching to that. But then, so I know some people that 6 months like this, they're already telling the baby,
Uh-huh.
you will start breastfeeding very soon, and they'll be
No, no.
6 months.
They didn't do baby friendly.
They'll be doing.
No. Baby friendly is 6 months.
Some people go for a year.
You will see them, they will already start complaining that this one, like this 6 months, to me, I don't have time for this one. So they are already introducing some things to the baby before you know. After 1 year old like this, the baby has stopped breastfeeding. You're telling me that somebody entered inside secondary school and you're still breastfeeding.
Don't worry, the person is
should
not
just
far
They
from
should
continue
you.
just
to
carry the
invest
person himself. I don't know what to say to the person. Please don't let me say what I have in mind for the person.
Okay,
of
talking
it.
about breastfeeding.
Comparing it with breastfeeding,
yes,
yeah,
I don't
kissing
think
the child to
I don't think they're the
breastfeeding.
same experience, because when you kiss a child, you're not feeding the child. You're not giving. Babies grow up to see breast milk as their source of
Food.
they say it as food,
Mm-hmm.
So even though at a very tender age, if you carry a baby, once they are hungry, they start doing that, they want to suck. But once they grow to the stage where they, like 3 months, they begin to really recognize their mother's face. So they know it's only mommy's breast they are meant to suck.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and of course, as soon as they stop sucking, they don't go looking for breast everywhere, because of course they would have known that
They would have-
something else had replaced that.
They would have introduced them to some other things.
They start using feeding bottles, or feeding them with plate and spoon and something. So they already is already registered. They're so different. So I don't think children sucking the mother's breast can be compared to. I don't think it's exposing them to
I don't think
sexuality
it's
or
even
anything.
related, because I don't know who would bring breast or something for a child.
No,
to
no.
suck
I
or
brought
something.
that comparison because you said that it exposes the child, and the child feels like it's a normal way of life to kiss people in the mouth. It's like you're greeting them, you're showing affection, you're just being sweet to the child. So if that's actually how it works with kissing the child right from when the child is a baby, from that infant stage to when the child grows up, the child feels like kissing people in the mouth. Now I'm comparing it to sucking the mother's breast, because if that's the case, if that's how it registers on the children's heads, then sucking breast will be normal. Like any lady you see, you just go and suck breast.
Well, I don't accept that school of thought, please.
I wasn't expecting you to. Meanwhile, Sudan has criminalized carrying out FGM, that's the female genital mutilation, and they made it a punishable offense, and your punishment is 3 years in jail. Now, according to the United Nations, over 87% of Sudanese women aged between 14 and 49 have undergone some form of female genital mutilation. And in Sudan, it's actually common for women to get the inner and outer labia, and usually the clitoris removed. Well, the female genital mutilation can result to so many issues, things like urinary tract infections, pain during sex, cysts, reproductive issues, kidney infections, uterine infections, and the rest of it. Girls get caught because of the widespread cultural belief that it is essential for girls' reputations and future marriage prospects. And that's female genital mutilation. Yeah, you're shaking your head in disapproval.
Yeah, it's very wrong for that to happen because I've actually heard cases of people who get married and
That's
they did
genital mutilation.
Yeah, and they did that to them, and they don't enjoy
Having sex.
They don't enjoy sex with their husband. They just feel somehow they're the kind of people that would just lie down, just like, well, do whatever you want to do and just leave me alone, because they don't enjoy it. They don't enjoy it. The clitoris is
So the only
important. We're not
issue
about to
now
talk
is
about it.
the fun and excitement with sex.
Well, is it not necessary?
It's necessary, I know.
So what are we talking about? And again, it is not good because, as I said, pain even during sex, it's there.
Yeah, I think that's the
And
major one.
That's the major
pain.
one, and the pain, and then not enjoying the sex
Yeah.
itself.
I'm sorry. You have mothers, yeah?
Sure.
Did your mother ever tell you if she was circumcised or not? And I know majority of our parents were circumcised because back then it wasn't such a big deal as it is right now. Did they tell you, or have they ever complained to you that whenever they sleep with your dad, they are having pain?
Well,
How many of them
how many of them really open up and tell children things like that?
They will not even tell you, but really, if you want to talk about our parents, like most of them got married not because of love, not like what we do now, because somebody introduced somebody to somebody, Like my mother will.
Whatever the reason they got married to each other is, the point is that you saying that because I don't have facts, but because the issue of female genital mutilation and making it a crime is just something that started off recent, not too long ago though. It's been a while, but not all that long. But let's look at the generation of our parents. Back then, when it wasn't an issue, I'm sure most of them were circumcised. So do you think they feel pains?
I don't know. Because I've not asked any of them, and I don't intend asking them, or maybe
Because
one of
if
them
they feel
decides
pain, if they feel
to talk
pains
about it.
during sex because of this FGM issue, I'm sure it's something they would have. Because I know some persons still in this generation now were circumcised.
Well, some parents just have issues with all these things. They feel like you not circumcising your child means that the child will be promiscuous. The child will
Yeah, that's the
sexual
traditional
lust.
belief.
That's the traditional. That's what
Yeah.
they believe. So that's what we're saying. So they don't even care if
Whatever comes up
maybe whatever it
after.
is, maybe it pain them or it not pain them, or maybe something happens to
They
them.
just
or
want to. They
they-
just
all
don't want
they
to
know
have.
is I want a good child. I want a girl who will not disgrace me in public, and they will not start calling her a dog or something that, oh, what happened? You will not be blaming yourself that you did not circumcise the child. That's all they care about. They don't care about whatever it is.
But really, how true is this? This whole the child becomes promiscuous and all of that. How true?
The
is it?
traditional belief.
Well, some people just believe that once you don't circumcise the child, maybe whenever they see all these, girls going up and down, doing, being promiscuous and all that, they call them dogs, and they feel like, oh, they did not circumcise them. That is why.
But
And I
it
don't
may not
know.
be true.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think
I don't
so.
think
too.
so.
I don't think so.
Because
Okay.
in the other case, some parents don't care. I'm feeling pain. I'm not feeling pain. My mother went through it. Me, I went through it. You too. You can go through
because
it.
somebody must have made them feel that
They don't
that's
care.
how it is. You're a woman. You're meant to bear this thing. So
Well, as Okay, just saying this. As much as UN, WHO rather, United Nations and the rest of them, doctors and all our health experts are advising that female genital mutilation. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't. You should go and circumcise your female daughter. That's not what I'm saying. But when it comes to all these complications in the woman's body, I think it's relative. It's not exclusively because she was. I'm not saying from a medical expert's perspective. I'm just saying it because I've spoken with ladies, both those that are circumcised and those that are not circumcised. And you'd see that most of all these things being mentioned, I can understand that it's based on records and they have data. Maybe they've spoken with a
Over the
larger
years,
number of
over the
persons.
years,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
They
they've
have
seen
come
these
up with
issues
this.
develop. But the thing, like I said, a disclaimer, please, I'm not saying you should go ahead and circumcise your child. But what I'm saying, based on some persons I have spoken with, I think it's something that is relative. For some persons, it's not even, it doesn't make you a dog. It doesn't make you promiscuous. It just boosts your sexual appetite to some extent. Well, at least that was what I was told by a doctor. It boosts your sexual appetite. But ladies that are circumcised, it's not that high. But still, based on some ladies I have spoken with, they feel it's a thing of the mind. It's your mindset. If you want to be promiscuous, you'll be promiscuous.
Exactly.
Whether
Whether
you're
or not
circumcised
you're
or
circumcised.
not.
Libido eyes.
If you want to enjoy whatever sex or whoever you're having the sex with, it is still a choice. So whether you're still, I'm repeating this so people don't call and say, Buchi, are you encouraging FGM? No, I am not, and you shouldn't do that.
You said just right now. You said enjoying the sex or not is a thing of the mind.
Okay.
Well, I do not believe in that.
For some persons, not everybody.
For some
like I said,
persons.
these things, this sexual appetites and excitement and desire, they are all relative. At least that's what I think. Whatever works for you might not work for me. Whatever works for this person might not work for the both of us. So I think it's just something relative. And well, moving away from that one, I thought we should just push that one ahead, so you know what's up with Sudan when it comes to FGM. But I told you there were two things I was going to talk about here. Now, this particular one is really it was disturbing, and it made me wonder, how exactly can you bring up your child? I saw a lady's story, and they were talking about, the story was about how much she tried to train her children in a godly manner, in a way that how would I describe this way? Morally decent, sound. That's sort of how she brought up her children. And they usually go to church. They are familiar with the word of God. They speak in tongues and all that. And then at the end of the day, the ladies grew up to be something else, something completely different from everything their parents thought to them. Now, this is a life story. I read it on one of these articles they write online. So I started thinking, what exactly can one do to make sure you bring up your children? Well, you can do all you can to bring up these children in a sound and moral manner. What exactly can you do to make sure they don't end up being whatever it was? Because according to this lady's story, one of the daughters ended up becoming a lesbian, and the other one became a drug addict. Her husband is also a drug addict. It's like their lives are ruined already. She feels their lives are ruined because to her, that's not how life should be. I couldn't have trained up these two girls in a very sound and moral way, in a godly way. And at the end of the day, they ended up being lesbians and drug addicts. So where did they go wrong? Where did the parents go wrong? And what could have been done differently to avoid these children from getting into that line they finally told?
Okay. Parenting, in my opinion, is is more than, as I think it's deeper than just
Caring, paying the school fees.
Because what that parent would have thought they have done, from what you said, the parent think or the mother thought she did everything right.
They actually did everything right.
Everything right. That's they provided for the babe, the child.
Communication was there. She was always communicating with her daughters at every point in their life. She knew all their friends, at least while they were in secondary school. Yeah, she knew all their friends. She was really close to her girls. But at the end of the day, they ended up to be some.
I think that's where prayer comes in, because
You think it's spiritual?
haven't done everything. There's also, we cannot dispute the fact that the devil is still the king of the still,
Rules the
rules
world.
the world, So when you've done everything as a parent, because really, really, parents are caretakers. They are not, God still has a major role to play in the life of your children. So you are going to, wherever they are, some of them leaves the parents at some point, go to the university where you don't get to see them all the time. You don't know who they communicate with. You don't know who their roommate is and all of that. You don't even know. Sometimes how they even get into addiction is they get depressed over something they can't, express. Like somebody once said that when the body is hungry, when you are hungry as human, you want to eat, you want to drink something. But when the spirit is hungry for something, that's when addiction comes in. When the spirit is hungry, the devil finds a way. So you either do this, is either sex, is either drink, is either club or something. That is the part you're going to pray about. In the course after doing everything as human, you are going to commit your children in God's hand that they do not associate with the people they shouldn't.
So in this lady's case, do you think it's sort of a demonic attack? Because if that's the case, it means you're comparing being a lesbian and a drug addict as being possessed with some certain kind of demon.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It's just somebody meeting somebody they shouldn't have met, the wrong person, somebody who must have given them the wrong counsel or something. Somebody who must have introduced that girl to that lesbianism. Do you understand?
Which, in your opinion, is a good thing, or it's normal, or it should be there?
It's not normal.
It's not normal.
Especially for a child who grew up in a Christian home, a child who was, properly taught. It's not normal. So whatever made her agree to associate with that kind of lifestyle, I don't know. I think it's something that would have been prayed out.
Prayer could have saved her from being a lesbian.
Well, in my own opinion, I just want to quickly summarize what you said. A woman brought up a child or our children in the way of the Lord, in a good way. She made sure that she taught them. She did everything possible, and then the children still turned out to be whatever they wanted to be.
Well, in her opinion, being a lesbian and a drug addict what's the word? I'm looking for a better word, but in essence, it's evil. You turned out to be an evil child.
Well, being a drug addict is not a good thing. Being a lesbian is not a good thing. But what I want to say right now is if a child will be bad, a child will be bad. No matter how much you try to train the child, except maybe you pray. Prayer is one key too. I would also support that part. But if a child will be bad, no matter how nice you are to the child, I remember one time I heard a story of a particular lady where I think she was promiscuous or something, and then people asked her, a friend asked her that, babe, you guys have money. What's up with all these kind of things that you are doing? She said they were
not doing it for money.
Yeah, she was like they were insulting our mother and everything. She said, please don't you ever insult my mother, because my mother did everything possible to train me. It is me that turned to this thing by myself. So what are we saying?
What do you make out of that?
So a child that will be bad will be bad. One thing that you just need is prayer for that child, that, oh God, my child is going to this place. From when they are little, just make sure that
Yeah.
you start praying for them, that the
Pray
kind of
over
people they
them.
will meet, the kind of things that they will be in life, that God should just have his way concerning that. Because no matter how much you try, if you like communicate, be like, mommy's daughter, something, what happened today? Ask them, do all these ones, do all those ones. I can still remember some of us, we grew up with parents that, you know, that they did not born you way,
Yeah, to
that you will do
certain things.
something and you not come to that house. You cannot do it and you say you won't come to that house. But nowadays, some children, they don't send. If you like, and so my mom will do what, and so you should not come and do what, they will still go to the house like that, and the mother will not be able to do anything. So if a child will be bad, it will be bad.
All right.
It's just respect. It's just, I can't really say the upbringing right now, because some children were brought up well. Maybe along the way they saw some things happen to them that changed their lives, and then they
I
started
think it's
seeing things differently.
Evil communication.
To some extent, some parents even communicate. Some child cannot just open up some things to their parents.
Well, I'm sure you're aware that because both of you seem to be towing the part of prayer, yeah? Prayer is like the only thing. But I've seen cases where I've seen really stubborn children, very stubborn children, and their parents are actually pastors. Like they pray for these children day in, day out, and these children just still refuse to change. What would you say is the problem? Because right now they have prayed. So where exactly is the problem coming from?
Well, we're not saying prayer is exactly the solution. We're just saying that praying for the child is one of the solution. So some children might not.
So prayer doesn't solve everything, yeah? Is that what you're saying?
Prayer solves everything.
So if it's not the key solution, if prayer cannot solve it, you just said prayer is not the
you have to
absolute.
do some other things. Then
Like-
prayer comes in. Like, okay, some parents don't even actually communicate with their child at all.
What if
They-
you've communicated, you speak with this child, you do everything, and you
even
still pray for
the
this child, and the child still
Well,
turns
one
out the
day,
way they
one
want
day,
to?
One day, God will touch the child.
One day.
Because I don't know
Or for
what-
the meantime, the child can become a hooligan.
I don't know, because you've done your best, you're praying and everything, and we know that we have an heavenly Father who listens to us and those kind of things. So we don't know what exactly is happening at that moment. We can't explain. We don't know why that is happening. So
Alright.
maybe until the child, just learn his or her lesson on his or our own or something.
Okay. Yeah, Annie, you're gonna say something.
Yeah, I was going to say that sometimes when we say the parents they communicate, I don't know, because I don't know, except you live with them, and because some parents really, really start communicating when the children are grown, maybe when they're teenagers. So the communication,
The children find it strange.
the bond you did not create when they was younger, and the discipline, because somebody once said that once your children when your children are enters that teen age, they are supposed to be your friend at that time. The time of discipline is when they are younger, so it is that time you imbibe the spirit of you flog them, you do this, you discipline them, so that by the time they become teenagers, you already know that some of us that grew up
This
with
and
strict
this are
parents,
bad and all those kind of things.
sometimes your parents are not there, but my mother's name literally rings in my head. Like when I want to do certain things, I remember, hey, mom, so will kill you, even if she's not even there.
True.
Do you understand?
True.
So I think it has to do from it's not you don't start communication when the child has entered university, like I'm very close and you're creating impression. There must be a vacuum somewhere that we didn't see or that we can't see. We only judge based on what we can see now. Because you mentioned something, Bolu, Buchi, you talked about pastors' children. Sorry to say, so many pastors are very engrossed with the ministry, thereby neglecting
Their major
their
responsibilities
major
as fathers.
responsibility in the
You know, that
house.
used to be the ideology back then, but I don't think it's same thing currently.
yes,
right now.
people are beginning to find balance.
Some
yes,
parents
but
still do it. Some pastors still do it. But some people are beginning to find balance. They're beginning to look at their family, their church. They don't just base all their attention on the church right now. They believe that they have a role as the pastor in the church. They have a role as the father in the house,
All
as
right.
a husband to somebody.
Okay.
because ministry really starts from the home. Yeah.
You have to be able to balance everything. That is what makes a father.
All right. It's 0817000951 or 0810951091. Text message, WhatsApp message 0701933992. For children that actually just turn out being hooligans or whatever social vice they decide to get into, what do you make of those children, especially when their backgrounds, their upbringings are top notch? They've gotten everything they want: love, communication, spirit of God. Even some used to speak in tongues and the rest of it. So where exactly is the problem coming from? Or what did the parents do wrong? Well, this particular story I'm talking about, the mother actually felt like she did something wrong. She just kept lamenting on everything she did for these children and sort of to some extent blaming herself for how the children turned up. Maybe she gave them too much love. Maybe she was too much of a good mother to her children. As much as she was disciplined, she felt she should have been more disciplined. You should have been more of this, more of that. What else can a woman do? 95.1 FM. Good morning. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Mhm.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Good evening to you.
This is Ikuku.
Ikuku, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you. In the area of training a child, you see that child. You see, you can only brought a child into this world. Brought a child into this world. God has given you a child, but you cannot. The word of a child, you cannot help. Even if you like, train him from now to tomorrow, next tomorrow. What he will be, he will be. So, in the area of that, I keep that one aside. And in the area of woman genital clitoris, if you eventually touch a woman, if you eventually make love to a woman that don't have clitoris, that they are circumcised, you will not enjoy it at all. No enjoyment is there. No even one single enjoyment is there. She will not. She will just feel like a log of wood. So, but when the clitoris, that thing is there, enjoy sex very, very.
All right. Thank you very much, Ikuku. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. My name is Magnus Asoy. I'm calling from Rumekini.
All right, Magnus, go ahead.
Okay, I think most of the problem parents actually have with training up children. First of all, for example, pastors. Most times they think that because they are pastors, their children automatically should know. The thing is that these children have been in the church, so they are used to those things. It looks like a religious activity, so they don't see it as anything. And then, to train them up, I think for me, the best way is to lead them to a personal relationship with Jesus, because after then with you, they will leave the house, they will go to the campus. And then, even as they are on campus, you still have the role to pray for them, because once they are there, the kinds of friends they are going to meet. So if you do these two things well and you have laid a good foundation, even if at some point they will go away, because they are already a sheep, they already belong to Jesus Christ, your prayer is that they should just find their faith back. And if they do so, you will not have much problem, because actually in campus, we always see some of our colleagues, most of them who are misbehaving full time, are pastors' children. They come to school, they do things that you won't expect. Most of the time, they are used to those activities, and there's no way you can preach to them.
Okay.
Just God.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. 95.1 FM. Good evening. All right. Sorry, I lost that call.
Well, you mentioned something about prayer, and I think prayer is important, as we said earlier. But then you cannot just leave them to the hand of God just like that. God has made you caretakers for a reason. Yes, God will not come down from heaven to come and train a child for you. God has made you a caretaker for a reason. He has made you there so that you would, impact some knowledge, some things into them.
So if you leave anybody in the hands of God, it's not enough. You have to put your own work.
Why did he give them to you? Why did he make you their father or their mother?
Okay.
When he wants to come down from heaven and come and train the child by himself.
Yeah, I think sometimes some parents can be too strict, overly strict on their children.
Yeah,
so
most times too is not good.
Yeah, so most times the children can't wait to just leave the parents, so that especially the ones I've also seen children who have double wardrobes. When they're going back to the house, they have the Mary Amaka kind of dressing. Of course, that's what parents like. So when they come back to school, they have a different kind of. So they are they have two different personality. You know, they are this kind of girl in
A parent
school,
came to a school
and then they are
one time.
this.
A parent came to a school one time and then saw her daughter wearing something like that she has never seen her wear at home, and she dare not wear at home. She was beating the girl in school in front of her friends.
95.1 FM. Good evening.
Yeah, Buchi, Bolu, and
Annie.
the other. Okay, I greet you all.
Good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening. Yes, it's Chinedu calling from Port Harcourt.
All right,
Hello?
Chinedu, go ahead.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, about bringing up the child, right? Yes, I think early childhood discipline and prayer is the key. Yes, I think that is the first thing, the first step parents should follow before any other time. No, after all this discipline, whatever in the house or in the home, I know the child. The another thing that awaits the child is the society in which the child involves his or herself. Like you made mention of the school, what they copy from friends and what have you. But as a matter of fact, if the upbringing, the disciplinary measure was given to the child, and the prayer would be prayer, I think the child, when the child gets to this macro society, the child will be able to position his or herself. But I know that the society nowadays influences the child a lot than the home. But if nothing is done at all in the area of discipline and prayer, it means that the child will be nowhere to be controlled, will be fully out of control when the child gets to the society. Then the other issue you discussed on before this, the child disciplinary issue, about made mention of especially you, which you actually irritated me when you made mention of second verse, maybe after the mother's verse and the child grows up and begin to.
The kissing a child in the mouth.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, anyway, I was irritated on that when you made me. Because that is the only challenge or my shortcoming. Though even though I don't go about doing that, but that is where I fancy most in a woman.
All right. Congratulations. Thank you very much for calling in. 95.1 of them. Good evening.
Good evening to you. Hello.
95.1 FM.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello,
to
good
you.
evening.
Am I calling to the FM?
Yes,
course.
you are.
Good evening. I hope you can talk.
Good evening to you. Go ahead.
I'm interested in about the upbringing of the child.
Okay.
The upbringing of the child as far as I'm concerned is very, very important. And I would choose the line of balanced parenting. You are a pastor or you are not a pastor. When parenting is not balanced, some of us are parents who are not pastors, or not even Christians. But the way they brought us up in a way that they instill fear, that reverent fear, not that kind of fear that makes you afraid of your parents when that is something you are running away. No, but there is that fear. You always hear the voice of your father. You always hear the voice of your mother. So I think to be a connect between the child and the parents from when they are born. So because once there is disconnection between the parents, you'll find out that the children will be going their way. To be going their way. Like sometimes they go in church, the child misbehaved. And I just let touch the child a little. I spank the child just a little. If I can went back to the mother. And if you look at the mother's countenance, it was so bad. What she's doing to that child is spoiling the child. A time will come when the child will begin to fight her in the house. And you say the child is bad. So I think beyond prayer, if you look at the Bible in 1 Samuel chapter 1, the children of Eli were errant. Eli is a man of prayer as far as I'm concerned. But in the area of bringing up his children in the way of the Lord, he failed. Where did he fail? He failed because he's supposed to instill discipline in the children. That was where he failed. So I think for you to bring up a child where you necessarily need to bring discipline into it. Discipline, I think you should always bully the child, you need to balance the discipline. So if every parent should toe that line and you connect with your children properly, even when they want to fall off, they will always remember that moment and they won't always come.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening to you. Welcome. Chigozie, go ahead.
The Bible says, train up a child in a way they should follow. That when they grow, they will not depart from it. Foundation matters. The influence of my father is taken on me. Because as early as 6 years old, even the kind of music my father played, Hallelujah, Christ is coming very soon.
Why you laughing? Why did you find that funny?
Very early in the morning, my father will put that kind of. I'll be sleeping and I'll be seeing. So those things, those upbringing. Now my father is led, have gone to heaven. I saw him go to heaven. Go open my eyes, I saw him. But now that
you saw your father go to heaven.
I can go open my eyes. I saw him.
Oh,
all right.
Even those kind of songs he's playing.
All right.
When I'm sleeping now, God will be giving me song. I'll be hearing new song of that pattern.
Okay. So the upbringing matters a lot.
Yeah. Children now. When baby, take up.
All right. All right, Chigozie, thank you so much for calling in. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Yeah, this is Biobi.
All right, Biobi. Shoot.
Yeah, I want to look at it from one angle. First of all, the woman who allowed the daughter or son to start sucking her in secondary school, enjoying. I see the woman, the lady who allowed the son or daughter to still suck her breast while in secondary school for a 6-year-old child. Only she can tell you what they are enjoying, because at that time, breast milk is no more running.
The child just wants to suck breast now, just like sucking your hand.
That's what I'm telling you now. Say, that person whose breast is sucked will only tell you, she alone has what to tell you, what she's enjoying from that sucking. And allow that thing to go on. And
all right.
Yeah, then coming to, though it's not good anyway, then coming to aspect of child training, you see, cases is one thing that even if you are born again, you need to sit down and address, because cases can come from so many angles, either generational case or case of a particular thing that one do. For instance, when God said that people are cursed all because of tithe and offering, tithe and offering play a very major role spiritually. Let me tell you.
You need to wrap up now, please.
Yeah, what drove Adam from the garden? He touched God's portion, divine portion. If you don't pay your tithe, God's own portion, who gives you strength to make wealth, certain devourers will start attacking you, either through your children.
All right.
So
Mel, you're trying to spiritualize this thing right now. We're just talking about
well, people see it from different perspective, but we should wrap up now. I'd love to get your final words before we leave.
Okay. I'll say train up a child, like one of the callers said, train up a child the way the child will go. Trust me, if the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? If you lay a good foundation from day one, because I've seen parents where if the father wants to discipline the child, the mother is saying, no, beat my pikin, or don't beat my child. And then the child starts doing,
Daddy's boy.
So, if you need to train up a child, I think the parents should know that in partnership. Understand that both of you should discipline this child. When children do something wrong, mommy and daddy are together. So that the child doesn't have a party, doesn't think, oh, no, daddy is always at my side. So train up this child, lay good foundation, do the bit that you can, commit them in the hands of God, and whatever comes out, don't if they turn out after doing everything within your power, whatever they turn out, just you don't have to blame yourself. If they become addicts, there's help. There's always help. So just do all
Your best.
You can, yes.
All
do
right,
your
what are your
best.
final words?
Do your best. Keep doing your best. Keep doing your best. And, give it to God.
And keep doing your best.
And keep doing your best.
All right, thank you so much for doing today's woman with us. She's Buluwatife Chegede. We have Annie Ebet, Akpan, and Buchira for. Good evening.
Swear I'd be a better man. I listen to her.
Never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Whether it's happening in Port Harcourt, South, Nigeria, or around the world, we've got you covered. On air, online, delivering balanced news and unbiased analysis. Today, 95.1 FM.
This is Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News.
Good evening. Here is the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Buchira Fua. The federal government has been explaining why it has not considered a reduction in the value-added tax of 7.5% despite the effect of COVID-19 pandemic in Nigerians. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, who was speaking at a briefing of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 in Abuja, said a reduction in VAT may lead to crisis. Mustafa, who is also the chairman of the task force, said the government at all levels needs all the resources they can gather at this point in view of the losses from crude oil.
Of whatever is earned through the value-added tax, only 15% goes to the federal government. 85% is shared between the states and the local governments. So if you reduce VAT and couple with a decrease of income that comes into the consolidated revenue fund of the federation, where states at the end of the month gather to share through the federation account allocation meeting, there will be crisis. I can tell you there will be crisis. So whatever we need to do in terms of rigorous and elaborate and extensive collection of revenue, we must do that to be able to compensate for the losses that are coming in as a result of the downturn in our earnings with regards to oil and gas.
The Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, says the alleged sponsored media attacks on the activities of the Interim Management Committee, IMC, are intended to disrupt the forensic audits ordered by President Muhammadu Buhari. Speaking in an interview at the NDDC headquarters in Port Harcourt, the Commission's Director Corporate Affairs, Charles Orderly, stated that the intelligence The allegations, against the IMC were deliberate falsehood orchestrated to undermine the ongoing forensic audit exercise. The NDDC director added that most of the allegations against the commission were completely false, citing the claim that the IMC spent 200 billion in 2 months as one of the food fed to the public. Oddly also clarified the reports that the NDDC was not attending to the beneficiaries of its forensic foreign postgraduate scholarship program, as he said the scholars would have been fully settled but for COVID-19 pandemic, which made movement of funds abroad impossible. He also advised those who have genuine businesses with the NDDC to always cross-check their information at the Corporate Affairs Department or visit the Commission's official website and other social media handles to avoid being conned. Rivers State Council of the Nigeria Labour Congress has called for a special package for health workers who are on the front line in the fight against COVID-19 in the state. The state government of the NLC, Beatrice Itubo, made the call in her 2020 Workers' Day message. Itubo also appealed to employers of labour not to capitalize on the global COVID-19 pandemic to begin to downsize or reduce the salaries of staff who she said are already suffering the effects of the lockdown occasioned by COVID-19 pandemic.
Of course, there should be. Without anything, anybody asks, people should know that people that are the frontline workers. At least something should be done to compensate them because they are risking their own lives and putting their lives at stake. I use the opportunity to also call on employers of labor not to capitalize on this pandemic and begin to think of downsizing or reduction of salaries. It will not do anybody any good. As we speak now, inflation is on the rise. So the part-through money that they are paid, if you now go there to deduct, what will become the plight of the workers? So they should be able to know that we are one family. Without workers, there will be no manager. Without manager, there will be no workers. So we can work together. In adverse periods like this, we should be able to be one another's keeper. And so after the pandemic, I believe that the businesses will blossom. Everything that we want, God will provide for us. And then there will be a new order. People will begin to put the right things in the right perspective.
In the meantime, the Labour Party in Rivers State has called on Rivers workers to join hands with the state government to fight COVID-19. The party made the call through its chieftain, Chief Isaac Owanwo, who also advised the state government to completely lock down the state for 2 weeks to help stop the spread of COVID-19.
So this year, Workers' Day should be seen as an avenue for collective effort on the part of the Labour operator to the government in the fight against the virus. The virus itself and the situation we find ourselves is a clear war, an invisible war that we must all fight together and ensure that we win the war. We must also ensure that we respect and take the measures being put in place by the governor. But I think the best we can do at this stage is to be able to take up a complete lockdown of the state rather than the partial lockdown. The partial lockdown might be seen as frustrating and might not be getting the needed result. And if we have a complete lockdown, the entire state will be able to be checkmate. We identify the rising area of such a virus within 2 weeks, and we will unlock.
The River State Governor Nyesom Wike has confirmed that the state has recorded 2 deaths from the COVID-19, said this in a live broadcast on the briefing of the state of COVID-19 in the state. Governor Wike said out of the 13 cases confirmed in the state, 6 have no travel history, while the other cases have travel history. The governor also revealed that the 7th case of COVID-19 in the state is an offshore worker who snuck into the state with the help of security personnel and was admitted in St. Martin's Hospital before testing positive to COVID-19. He added that the state not received any support from the federal government, neither has the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, provided any testing center in the state. The composing bodies of 3 persons and 1 female and 2 males who were said to be students of the University of Port Harcourt have been recovered in a forest in Eto community in the Eleme local government area of River State. Police personnel attached to the anti-kidnapping unit of the River State Police Command arrested a member of the kidnap gang who took them to the forest where the students were killed and buried in a shallow grave. The suspect, who identified himself as Friday Akban, who spoke to newsmen in the forest, said they abducted the victims identified as Joy Adoki, Nelson Wafo, and Fortune Obimba on the order of one bride. Akman explained that they killed and buried the 3 victims after raping the female amongst them, claiming that the said bride told them that one of the victims betrayed him by diverting a certain amount of money that was paid into his account. Briefing newsmen at the scene, the spokesman of River State Police Command, Nnamdi Omoni, disclosed that the men of anti-kidnap unit, led by its commander, Chief Superintendent of Police Collins Edward Shadar, swung into action after a case of kidnap of the 3 undergraduates was reported to the unit. Our correspondent, Uchindo Ejowa, reported that 1 AK-47 rifle, 1 pistol, 3 magazines, 72 rounds of live ammunition were amongst the weapons recovered from the suspect, while the corpses of the victims, which were exhumed by the police, are to be deposited at the mortuary to make way for further investigation. Despite criticism from other political parties in River State, the People's Democratic Party in the state has gone ahead to inaugurate its elected wards executives across the state. Some parties, including the main opposition, All Progressive Congress and Social Democratic Party, among others, had criticized the panned wards ESCO inauguration by the PDP. The former chairman of the party, Felix Oboa, however, announced the suspension of the swearing-in 15 wards in Falga, Obiakpo and Degema due to the lockdown by Governor Nyesom Wike. Our correspondent who monitored the process, which took place simultaneously in the remaining across the 23 local government areas, reports that security operatives were also present to enforce the social distancing directive of the government. Speaking during the event in Auda, the chairman of Auda is Local Government Council Ben Eke, new executive to be dedicated and loyal in order to foster coherence and unity needed for the PDP to continue to win.
Goes unrewarded. If you do good, you certainly receive it in the positive sense, and if you do bad, certainly you receive the negative result as well. So they should be upright, they should be respectful, and of course they should be loyal to the party and do their best to ensure that the party remains afloat. The party is a large party, one that is made up of very mature persons, and so they should not give people any cause to doubt their integrity. With that, PDP will remain a great party and even a greater party at that.
On their part, some of the newly inaugurated executives in Auda East pledge their loyalty and promise to work for the victory of PDP in all future elections.
I promise that I will serve the party by honesty, by sincerity, and I will make sure to ensure that all the elections that will go on in Ward 10 will be peaceful, and to ensure that all the elections that will go on in Ward 10 that we will deliver 100%.
I have to galvanize my people for this world to make sure. Since 1999, PDP have been winning election in this world, and it's not essential in this administration. And as we come on board, I will make sure the victory that we have been gotten since 1999, we still will maintain the victory come 2023 election.
So my aim is that whatever anything that comes out for the women, I will deliver. That I will carry every woman along.
Another foreign in the national COVID-19 lockdown in India has been extended beyond 4th May for another 2 weeks. New guidelines outlined on Friday updates the country's designated red, green and orange zoning system. Red zones are considered hotspots, while considerable relaxations will be permitted in areas considered less dangerous. India has been under lockdown measures since 24th March, with more than 35,000 cases confirmed nationally. But Friday saw a record number of new cases added to the nation's official tally. At least 1,100 people have died of COVID-19 in India. And that was the news update on Today 95.1 FM. Do not forget to take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap under running water. Avoid touching your face and high contact surfaces to prevent coronavirus. Good evening. I am Buchira Fwa. Thanks for listening.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Radio has never been this good. Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Peace is a situation where there is no war or violence in a society. Peace allows wealth to accumulate and the society to advance.
Through peace, generations of wealth, education, technology can build up, thereby making people very prosperous and happy.
Without peace, there will be violence, war, and underdevelopment in our society. The most disadvantageous peace is far better than the most just war. Let us embrace peace for a better society.
This message is brought to you by your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM.
It's what I pray for all around the world. It's what I pray for all
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
This president's failed.
It's about the future of this country.
We're going to take it back. We're going to take it back.
You asked us to vote you into that position so you can bring about that
solution.
So when you vote me, then you sleep. Let me see if I can take another phone call. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
What makes a policeman to be able to feed is the gun he's holding. They use their gun to extort money from people.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
No longer news that we are truly the voice of the people.
Am I not a slave in Nigeria?
I refuse if you are. If
you're a slave. Let's not get to that now. So the Nigerian Constitution is philosophizing.
You spot the difference now?
I don't know.
Run for waiting. What did happen? Everybody just dey run. Everywhere is scattered. What did happen?
That woman for junction. He say, her friend come tell her say, person tell her friend say, coronavirus don enter town. They keep people.
Which one be corona?
Corona. They keep people. Hey, Bombay. Where your sister? Wanna enter house? Wanna enter house? Oh, lock that door. Fast. Lock am. Nkechi, lock that window. Man says corona won't use enter this house. Lock am.
Remember, there is no need to panic. Fear kills faster.
The coronavirus is an infectious disease caused by a newly discovered coronavirus. The best way to prevent and slow down transmission is to be well informed about the virus. Protect yourself and others from this infection. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or clean them with alcohol-based sanitizer. Maintain at least 1 meter distance between you and people coughing or sneezing. Stay at home if you feel unwell. The virus spreads through droplets of saliva or discharge from the nose. It is important that you practice respiratory etiquette. At this point, there are no given vaccines or treatments for the coronavirus. The World Health Organization will continue to provide updates as soon as clinical findings become available. So stay informed. This message is brought to you by Today95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
And hold on, Kata. No, don't say else. Just bring 5,000 now.
Only.
Make
the Kata day. Make the code remain.
Yeah, they worry.
You are not aware you're a thief. Now that you know that your money is coming from a thief, do you not see why you're a thief?
All right, still talking about affairs of the federal government. We understand also that the federal government...
Welcome to today's edition of Beats and Pieces in your premium talk and news radio.
And it's going to be 1-1 Malata. 1-0 is never good enough.
That's why we're called the voice of the people. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Act.
Here we go.
Hey, yo, Eco, drop my shit. Oh, nah, nah. Oh, nah, nah. Eco. And yo. What the? Fresh on the beat. Guess what's called? What's called?
Damn.
Fresh. And I go publish the matter for your sake. You make a man misbehave. And if not fire for fire, indicate. Cause me, I don't know I can. Feel me now. I said, I know me now. That was a fucking mistake. What up, Carolina? That one I told you. Chai, so me, I know do again. What you talk about? Hard out. Baby, you're always on my mind. I think about you all the time. Baby, true love is hard to find. Makes me want to pay a fine. Hard out. Baby, you're always on my mind. Thinking about you all the time. Hard out. Baby, true love is hard to find. Makes me want to pay the fine. And I go fire bazooka for your sake. Fire bazooka. Cause me I know come to play. I see cool they spin up for your waist. The spin up. Oh baby, do you feel the bass? They said feel me now. I said I know me now. That was a fucking mistake. What up, Carolina? Not one, not all. Try. So me I know do again. Baby, you're always on my mind. I think about you all the time. Baby, true love is hard to find. Makes me want to pay the fine. Baby, you're always on my mind. Thinking about you all the time.
Damn. Fresh on the bed.
Bang, bang. Like a thing goes. Bang, da, da, dang. Like boom, bop. I like it this. I like it that. I like it this. I like it that. I like it this. I like it that. I like it this.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Take all my mind, take all the joy now. Take me down, take all the love now. Tie me away, burn me alive now. Break me down right now. Now you wanna lock me away. I'm winning, you wanna add to my pain. I'm shining, now you won't come for my face. Ideally, we're not the same, no, no. So why you wanna try me? Yeah, try me. You're out to destroy me, destroy me. You try to challenge me. You try to distract me. If I roll me a visa, set me on fire. Woke up in the night, broke out of my chains, staying in lane. You don't know my name, you crossed the line. We will never die. This is where you went, ooh child. Why you wanna lock me away? I'm winning, you wanna act to my pain. I'm shining, now you won't come for my face. I did it, we're not the try me. Set me on fire.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Joe boy born there. Together we go there, we no go fade away. Why be say that you in my mind? Say you no be option, no be lie. Oh yeah, make it run away, make it fly away.